mainly to disseminate the information regarding the conservation of all ecological systems. So particularly this aquatic, terrestrial and marine ecosystems, thereby we may able to conserve the biodiversity species for conservation and then balanced way of exploitation for sustainable development. So this message I will carry to the young scientists, young research workers, so that in turn this message will reach to the end user and coastal rural community. Yeah.
Having worked in the coastal areas and on in the domain of the marine, what are the biggest biodiversity concerns in this area?
Yes, definitely. There are many threats for the biodiversity as such because of the increasing population, and then one side, and then urbanization, then ecotourism, and then industrialization. All these anthropogenic impacts actually having a direct impact on the coastal marine ecosystem in particular. So we have to evaluate and assess the present situation to find out the, so to say, reinventarization of the biodiversity of marine plants and animals. That is the first step to safeguard. Thereby we may able to find out what is the present stock of the situation, particularly endangered, threatened species, all we may be knowing. But we need taxonomists, botanists, marine biologists. So it is an interdisciplinary subject carrying the message of marine biodiversity conservation as such.
So India is a developing country, and specifically talking about the fisheries sector, the small time people who depend for their livelihood, how difficult and challenging is it for them to incorporate sustainability and work keeping in mind the biodiversity concerns?
Yes, because the coastal marine ecosystems play a major role in global economy and Indian economy in particular by virtue of their natural resources potential and potential habitats and then wide biodiversity. India has a long coastline of more than 8,129 kilometers including islands. So which is the and the exclusive economic zone, which is very vital areas both for exploration and exploitation. So fishermen, they find very difficult because the sustainable way, because of the regulation imposed by the, that is Coastal Regulation and Management Authority, imposed by the Ministry of Environment and Forests, is also to implementing the revival and then coastal livelihood aspects. Some kind of stress is there to the fishing community, how to carry out their livelihood because of the imposition of the coastal regulation, one aspect. Secondly, we have to find some alternative measures to safeguard the livelihood of the fishing community on the other side. So what are the steps we are going to take up? So government must seriously think about one side the balancing the natural ecosystem, and the other side we have to safeguard the livelihood of the fishing community.
So as far as this challenge is concerned, what according to your experience is a plausible option?
Yes, option in the sense there are two options. One is government must assess the present economic situation of the fishing community, and the other side we have to relax certain kind of relaxation of rules without affecting the biodiversity to give room to exploit the natural resources. Yes, so we have to balance for sustainable development. So as such they face lot of difficulties, and at the same time we have to also impose the particular gear. This is the trawl net fishing is there. That will completely sweep away all the organism. So we should have the message regulation to maintain the fishery policy. So making a fisheries policy is the need of this hour to safeguard the interests of the fishing community as well as the interests of the nation. Yeah.
Do you see any possibility of improving the market conditions as far as the fishing sector, the fishing sector is concerned?
Then we have to go for to capture the commercially important fishes like tuna. They have to go to the deep sea fishing area, which has got wide potential to support the marketability of the commercially important species in the deep sea fishing areas. Now we are going only the pelagic fisheries aspect from surface up to 20-meter depth. These are the 75% of the major commercially important fishes are available from this particular depth region. So we have to go beyond 100-meter depth to tap the enormous resources from the deep sea, so that the fishermen may get the proper marketability by exploiting those resources. That is the thing.
Well, Dr. Rajan, thank you so much for discussing the problems and the possible solutions.
Yes.
Anything?
Pardon? No. Actually, we have to, so to say, to safeguard the interests of the fishing community livelihood one side, and then the certain regulations must be properly made and then implemented. The implementation part. So we are talking so many things, but implementation is difficult, as we know. So how far we may able to implement these regulations without affecting the livelihood one side and the interests of the government on the other side. That is my humble suggestion.